What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Bobby Fi and Eric Sheets. Hey, we're going to be talking through this 11-game slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. I don't know. We talked about it this morning, and I'm a little bit more spread out than I guess I ordinarily would be. Although I'm still getting to a ton of some of the things we talked about earlier, namely the Dodgers, Cubs, Orioles, Yankees as being, along with the A's as being my favorites right now. What's changed for you, and where are you at right now, Sheets?
So right now, I'm just uploading the projections, so I haven't run anything yet, but I will do that in like just a minute or two.
Okay.
What I was curious is what was that the one spot where Saberson was really low on what was it? Was it Baltimore? I forget what it was. No, it was what was the team where we thought that the run total was low and everything was low and I wasn't getting to any of it? Do you remember?
Oh, the game that was at 7.5 that they had at 8.7.
I think so.
Who was it? Maybe. Let me just double check that.
See, I'm relying on you to be the young person to remember everything. You know
what
I mean?
I just can't remember. I can remember everything that or not everything. I can remember a good portion of things that I said, but I can't remember. Oh, was the Toronto Atlanta maybe?
Maybe. Oh yeah, Schwellenbach. Right.
Yeah.
I was wondering why Schwellenbach was not projecting higher and why Flaherty was not projecting higher, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if that's changed. That's what I'm interested
in. It hasn't changed, to be honest, all that much, which I think is a reasonable case to maybe go out of your way to play a little bit of these guys. And it's not like the pitch counts are non-existent. I think that it's actually a reasonable idea to get some exposure to those pitchers. Gaussman, Schwellenbach, but you also mentioned Flaherty, who I agree.
Gaussman, that was the other one, right.
Yeah, Gaussman's the one that I kind of liked a little bit, especially seeing how Atlanta's been very boom or bust offensively. We really never know what we're going to get on a day-to-day basis from them. But yeah, I'm going to make sure I get a little bit of the Schwellenbach just because I don't know why it would be this low. I can't honestly figure out why.
What kind of ownership are we expecting on Springs?
I think Springs is going to end up being the most popular.
Okay.
And I think he probably should be.
It's just such a, you know what I mean? It's such like it checks all the boxes type of thing.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Yeah, you're the White Sox, and it's away from away from Sacramento. It is the wind is blowing out, but Springs has elite strikeout stuff. You do have a bunch of righties against him, but honestly, I'd be surprised if most people out there could name more than like 2 or 3 players on their team.
On the White Sox?
Yeah, you might know because
just I'm forced to play them all the time.
You're forced to play them all the time, right? Exactly what I was going to say.
Is Luis Robert still on the team?
What?
Is Gavin Sheets still on the team?
No, Gavin Sheets is over in San Diego batting cleanup.
Oh, what about Sevi, the catcher? Is he still on the team?
Sevi Zavala? I haven't.
What about Yohan Moncada? Is he still on the team?
No, he might be on the. I think he's still on the team officially, but I haven't seen him play.
Oh, I think you know what? I think I actually saw something on him. I think he got moved to the DL or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I'm looking at the stacks, and then I'm going to run it. It looks as though if I just had to go on my projections or whatever, it still looks like Baltimore would be top stack. Yeah. And then Atlanta, Texas, White Sox, and then followed by Dodgers, followed by the Dodgers, and then like a bunch of others. So that's what I just projection-wise get. And when it comes to hitting, let me see if anything's changed. God damn it. It's not as bad as it was before, but I'm still getting Morton as a good point per dollar play here.
I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world to play some Morton. It's a speculative play that to play at high ownership just feels like probably not the right thing to do.
You think he's going to be high owned?
Yeah, I mean, Saberson's got him at 18%. You guys have him
at like 17, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty high owned. But I mean, he's 6,500, and it's a bad matchup, obviously, against Cleveland. But there are other guys who are cheap that should be in that same consideration. And I mean, first of all, Springs is still fairly cheap. I think Pepio is the guy who I'm siding with over Morton. Sort of throwing out the bad starts he's had, a couple bad starts, but I do like Pepio.
On FanDuel, I have 6 teams that stand out: Tampa, Atlanta, Baltimore, Dodgers, Athletics, wherever the hell they're from, and the Yankees.
Yeah, that's fairly similar to me. I do like the Baltimore thing, but they're going to have some ownership, and I'm looking real quickly. Actually getting to some of the Mets now on DraftKings, which is a little surprising against Ober. Not sure I'm going to keep that, but Baltimore, Tampa Bay running back, Dodgers, and I think Detroit has again, it's a little spread out, but it was sort of like what I was saying yesterday. You weren't on the live part, but I was saying, look, there's a lot of stacks that I think are going to actually score significant runs, and we saw it last night. A lot of people won tournaments with Atlanta stacks, not Tampa Bay stacks. You know what I mean? Tampa Bay scored 17 million runs, and people won with Detroit stacks and not Atlanta or Tampa Bay. And then some people, if you had the Dodger mini stack, you had the Mets because you had Mookie with $1 million and Shohei with $1 million.
You know what I have to wrap my head around? I still have this thought in my head that Flaherty's not that good. It probably goes back from 2 years ago or something like that when he couldn't find the plate for a whole season.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just gotten his act together now. I just can't get my head around that he's really good at 9K. But I guess he is.
So my take on that is I've said the same thing about Flaherty for basically ever. And as a Dodger, I mean, he helped us win a World Series. I definitely have gone the other way a little bit more, but I still maintain that against really elite hitting teams that I don't really want to mess with him the same way. I don't consider Milwaukee to be one of those, so I'm okay with him.
Isn't Milwaukee also? I mean, it used to be considered a good hitter's park, no?
It's a good hitter's park for lefties, especially lefty power. But it's above average park. You'd say this time of year, I think it would be a little more above average because you don't deal with the cold weather anywhere. But it's definitely a solid hitter's park. I think it would probably be around 12th or so. I can't remember the exact numbers. And also those numbers are always a little fishy because some years depending on what wins are going on in Chicago that year, Wrigley can be the greatest hitter's park or the greatest pitcher's park. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to measure some of those things. Yeah, and I'm looking through it. I'm going to rerun again in a second because I did want to cap my Mets exposure. I don't think I need to have as much as I was getting to. But I think if I in my high buy-ins, I think you'll see Dodgers, Baltimore, and I honestly really like this idea. Maybe it's a little too cute for an 11 gamer. Maybe it's more of a side stack, but I just think zero ownership on Colorado against Knack, who has not looked good, could be an interesting thing.
I mean, you can't dispute that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, Knack's really not that great. That's the counter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, Colorado though. I'm saying playing Colorado.
I know. This is always the question, isn't it? When you have a blah pitcher against a blah hitting team,
right.
I guess ownership usually isn't Colorado going to be lower owned than Knack?
Colorado's going to be unowned.
Yeah.
It is 11 games. That's the problem. Can you get enough pop out of that offense in an 11-game slate against, the team with the best? I can't say that it's the best bullpen. It is the team with the best bullpen arms in baseball. Although they're still not fully healthy. Yes, I hear what K9's saying. It's better in the summer, but so is everywhere better in the summer, and it's not as much better because often the dome is closed during the. So it's still a better park than most. You have to factor in the time of season. So we do all these park factor things, and a lot of sites actually have different park factors listed. But it really should only be applicable to that month of the year. It really changes drastically depending on the time. Like I said, by the time you get to July and August, Dodger Stadium becomes an excellent hitter's park, especially during the day.
I was going to say that it actually does feel like kind of an Eric Johnson slate, but not really. Because I was going to say all the Oakland, but the Eric Johnson slate is when Oakland's unowned against the top pitcher, as opposed to being somewhat chalky, which is what they're going to be today.
Yeah. That is pretty wild. Everybody knows it about him. You go on Roto Grinders, they say the same thing. Everywhere says the same thing, and they all know Eric Johnson. That guy spends more time in the Discords and the chats and everything than I think.
Hey, he's an educated person.
There you go. Boston, and that I don't love either. So
what happened?
I'm just thinking what I'm getting when I refresh a few things, and I just keep getting to a couple of things like the Mets and Boston, which I don't like quite as much as SaberSim seems to. All right. Yeah, as K9 says, the like button, guys. The Masters TDFS code is still active for 33% off first month. Check that out. And let's
We're not going to change the promotion like the Heritage Classic,
the RBC Heritage promotion.
the RBCC Heritage.
Yep, we should. Wouldn't that be funny if you that would be a good way to get different, I guess. Like just
see, that's it.
Yeah, instead of doing the same when everybody else does before NFL,
call like random Tuesday NHL slate promotion.
Yeah. It'll be there's a 500-man LOL slate tonight.
Exactly.
LOL discount.
Exactly. The shot blast, code shot blast.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think that this is what I remember even at RG they're like, don't do 2 baseball shows a day, because I run into this issue every day where it's pretty straightforward to talk about what you want to do in baseball and everything like that from the first time for me, because it's like, okay, well, nothing's really changed all that much. But with basketball, like a million things have changed, so you have a whole different slate from when you do the preview. So I'm still trying to adjust to it this year.
Well, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Which part?
The NBA?
Yeah, I actually forgot even that the play-in was tonight. But I mean, I didn't forget, but I wasn't playing it, so I will take a quick look.
Here's what I know about NBA playoff DFS. Okay. Typically, there's not a lot of quote unquote value. Okay. Primarily because all the stars are playing. Okay, and everybody knows pretty much who's playing, so everybody's priced kind of accordingly. So what you end up getting are lineups without the 12K guys sometimes, and you'll get these really awful looking 5K guys that you don't want to play, but it's like the only way that you can put lineups in. The other thing that I know about DFS, well, like NBA players in general, is that all the stars and all the players and all the alphas are going to have like double the usage rate they had during the season. They'll probably have more minutes.
Yep.
And I won't say double the usage rate, but you know what I'm getting at. Okay, this is not the time to make that third pass from Luka to I don't know, Derek Jones Jr. or something. I have no idea what I'm even saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
Just this is when, if a team is down by 9, like and Luka has the ball, you know what I mean? Like it's beginning and ending with him. Okay, right, and he always has high usage. I mean, like other guys, like that's why you get guys like you had guys like a couple of years ago when Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell. These guys just because they were the alphas on their team, it was just all them. Right. And even like when Jamal Murray just went freaking ballistic. When he decided that he was him. That's the way it goes. And coaches will totally we're gonna ride with that. So this is so you probably should do your best to. Maybe even up the minutes a little bit, or up the projections on some of these like good players, sort of. I don't know. That's my overall view.
So I'll correct. I think that they are correct. I think that the projections get them pretty close to accurate. What I would say though is that this year, especially, it seems like at least in this game, you're getting way, way, way cheap. Like everybody's way cheaper. So I don't think it's as hard.
Is that right?
Yeah, like instead of being 10K like he was to end the year, Paolo's 8K. So they're making it because they want you to play the stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't. By the way, haven't been 9,500.
Wait, am I missing something? Maybe it wasn't Paolo that I was thinking of. Then I noticed. I'm still building the NBA one. So
Jimmy Butler.
Let me see.
Butler's 8K.
Are you on DraftKings?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me get to it real quick and see what I'm talking about, because I thought I noticed that they were. Maybe it was Franz at 77.
Franz, I have at 85.
Okay, so what am I looking at here? Let me see. Let me just see real quick to make sure that I'm not totally crazy. Give me a second. And all right, so
yeah, you might be looking at a showdown status. I don't know.
I think I did click on that for a second, but it's still the wrong numbers. So, all right, I'm just going over there. Like, let me see. Yeah, I had it wrong. Okay. Actually, though, it is still a little bit cheaper. I mean, Trey is 1,000 cheaper. Steph's not 600 cheaper than he was at the end of the very last. Jaws a little bit cheap. They're a little bit cheaper. Yeah, it's
Paolo's going to go off, right? I mean, like,
I would imagine. I would have a hard time seeing that one. So I'm actually just about to build my NBA ones, and I think that they've the salary is a little bit too wide for me on this one. And let me just average, and we are going to build it out.
I'm curious what I'd end up getting here. Like, so again, you're going to get like some, like a ton of like maybe Wendell Carter Jr. or something like that. You know, like.
Yeah. Let's see what I got here on my 35 lineups. All right.
I'm guessing. Is it Wendell Carter Jr.?
I don't know. It's running. Okay. All right. Anybody else playing NBA tonight? Thoughts? Oh, here. K9's asking thoughts on Edie. Do you think they'll play Triple J at the 5? Because I would be very like, if I end up with some Edie, I'm not going to set anything to try to get to Edie at all. And if I end up with a little bit, I'm going to be fine with it. But I don't think that this is like his projection and the ownership is going to be crazy high. I'm imagining they're going to want to give it a bunch to you. I would actually advise that maybe you, I might lower his projection a little bit.
That's interesting.
Must win. It does seem logical to play Jackson at the 5 in this kind of a matchup. Then you're sort of also say you could argue they're playing into his hands at the same time. Do you really want to run your offense through Zach Edey in your biggest game of the season? So I'm curious to see what happens. I'm running it right now.
Wait, so tell me what you mean by that. But the playing Jackson at the 5 is bad for Edey, or good for Edey?
Edey wouldn't play.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it is giving me all of the Edey as I was sort of thinking because of the pricing. I don't like that for what it's worth. I'm happy to have be near the field, I guess, but I don't want to be 75, 85%, which I think the sites are going to try to give you that much. Now, the flip side is they don't have anybody to match up exactly with him. So he does get the minutes. He could have a massive game. But
I'll tell you who I'm getting a ton of.
Who's that?
I'm getting a ton of Mr. Defensive Player of the Year, I think.
The Draymond?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but we'll see.
Oh, he's taking the anti-steam again?
I think that those other bets were really sharp sheets.
Okay.
Because the guy who might win it, like Lou Dort, was 40-1 2 weeks ago.
Lou Dort's got a shot?
Lou Dort's got a great shot.
Wow, that's awesome.
They call and weird little narratives drive, especially because it's just such a weird year. I think Mobley should get it. The truth is it'll probably be Draymond, but the vote's probably going to be closer than people think. That's probably what ends up happening. All right, so yeah,
wow, this is so weird. So when I ran the Sims, I got all of this Edey, but before that, I was getting less of him. What's going on here? This is a little strange. All right, let me see what I'm getting on FanDuel. Yeah, playing so much Edey seems a little awkward.
Yeah, I lowered his projection a little bit to get down. I'm still going to end up with some, but I'm down to 25% instead of 85%. So I do think there's a range of outcomes with that one. So I'm happy to be a little bit under the field. That's what I wanted to do. But otherwise, I think the two Orlando guys are where you start. I think both Paolo and Franz, because the matchup is so good for them against Atlanta. Must win. Maybe we see Trey take some more shots. I like being over the field on him. Where's Ja showing up for me? Okay, so Ja's one I actually would like to be a little higher on the field.
Oh, so here we go. Stupid. Whatchamacallit? All this KCP. Back to this business again?
Well, that's what happens with 2-game slates and no value, like you were saying.
Yep.
That you got to consider it. And in their biggest game of the year, so I guess this is the most interesting play. And honestly, even the projections are fascinating because Goldie has Kuminga 7 points higher than you do, and
okay.
And SaberSim has him lower than you do even. But he's the wild card because they didn't play him in their last game. They didn't start him, and it's a big deal and all this stuff. But that was their biggest game of the year, and that was a huge game to try and get them out of the play-in. And they lost, which is why they're in the play-in. It's interesting to speculate that maybe they go back to him, and I don't know what to do with it as far as projections go. It might be one of the rare times where I just say, okay, you know what? I want one lineup or two lineups with Kuminga just in case.
He can go off.
But yeah, if he plays, he may not play at all. That's the thing you got to be concerned with. They're not going to play, their normal 11-man rotation. So a little bit interesting to see that one. So I'm gonna throw that in there and see what I get, because just put a minimum of 3% ownership on them, just because I just want a tiny bit. Is Miller Park really called AM Fam now? Oh my god! The names of sports stadiums, I used to know every single one by heart. Every sport, even hockey. And now I have no idea what the hell.
We have no shot, right?
No chance. No chance. I barely know. The only one I know is Dodger Stadium, and it's because they're not going to change it ever.
You say so.
It was so. I told you, like a lot of friends and family and stuff were pissed off when the Lakers moved to Staples from the Forum.
Yeah.
Because look, now they're going and it's all corporate and it's the Staples Center and all this. I'm like, what do you think Great Western Forum is? It's the Great Western Bank.
That's true.
It's no different.
Oh, it's called the Fabulous Forum.
Did you see that it had to go back, by the way?
What?
Because of the bloodbath on Wall Street last week, Crypto.com had to get defunded and they had to put the Staples back up.
Are you serious?
Yes, the Staples renewed their thing. So now it's no longer crypto. It's now Staples again. Okay. It's pretty wild. They had a re-opt-in clause, I guess, that they used, which is just wild, this whole thing. All right. TJ is asking about thoughts on McGill. I think it's okay. I like righties against Minnesota. McGill's been good, so if you want to take that and just roll with it, I think that's fine. I personally did not get to much McGill, but I have no issue with the play if you want to take a stand. I think that's totally fine. So what did I end up with? Did they even let me play my Kuminga? Yeah, I've got 2 Kuminga lineups now.
There you go.
Just get it. Yeah, look, you got to get a little weird, right, in the playoffs.
One thing again, I'm not going to do, and it's tempting, but I'm not going to leave money on the table on purpose.
In basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea not to.
I mean, if I get it, I get it. But
yeah,
it's just asking for it.
And like I said, I don't use Sheets and Goldie's projections during the regular season because during an 11-game slate, there's no way nobody's going to be able to catch up with SaberSim. But I do like averaging it out and using your guys' stuff a little bit more for the playoffs.
Because you're not going to have these big wild substitutions and stuff like that.
Guys who say they're gonna play. That's right. Unless you get, and if you hear the guys out, then you make the adjustment on that one player yourself. That's fine. And for what it's worth, I think this is a pretty bold projection on Jimmy Butler. I do think I'd like to get to a little bit more Ja than I'm getting to. I can't.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
I just feel like that's what do you think they're going to try and do? They're going to try and have him take over, and there's no rim protection really. So I don't know. It feels like a logical, obvious one to me that may be getting missed by the projections. And he's not going to shoot 30% every game like he has been most of this year, unfortunately. All right, let's run this one more time, and we're going to get to some more Ja. I'm pretty sure of that now. So where's Curry's ownership? 40%. It's pretty wild. They have it. The ownership's pretty spread out today. I want to be under Butler, over Curry, over well over on what's his name on Orlando's starting lineup came out. Okay, nothing special.
Orlando's starting lineup came out like 4 months ago.
That's right. We already knew who their playoff starting lineup, I believe, actually came out right before the season started.
Before the draft, even.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what, I would love to see. It would have been fun to see if the Lakers and Golden State, who knows how many more chances we get the LeBron Steph thing.
Right.
But that would have been also kind of a little worrisome as a Laker fan because LeBron has his little trying to prove his legacy stuff, and we want the ball in Luka's hands, not LeBron's hands.
Right.
Part, obviously some LeBron is great, but we don't want it every play down the court. All right, so I'm getting to a ton of the pods, and now I've got the Ja Morant at 60%. That feels good to me. I like.
There you go.
Taking a stand on him.
Just for fun, where did you say that I was way different than SaberSim and Goldie in the NBA?
It's Kuminga, but I don't think I knew once we started talking about basketball, I knew it was going to be like this because I was listening to a podcast right before we got on, and they were talking about, so does Kuminga even play in the play-in game, or does it go the other way? Does he play like 30 minutes and nobody's ready for it? And there wasn't a consensus answer, but that's speculation.
What, 10 points? I think I have met something like that. Yeah.
Oh, you have at 10 now? Okay, I thought you had him. I saw one that had you have him at 17, but maybe I was.
No, it should be 10. I mean, that's what I have now. I hope we made it up there.
No, it's Goldie who has him at 17.
Oh, okay.
But I think it is a real one, and Saberham has him at 8. It's a tough one to speculate on. It really is. And don't forget to late swap at NBA and MLB tonight. I'm just going to make sure I have my late swap alarm set. How do you do it, Cheats? Do you set a little alarm, or how?
No, I just remember.
You just remember? What is that? What if you're always aware of exactly what time it is?
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's like in Seinfeld when he's like, I can guess pretty much within an hour by looking at the sun, and people are like, well, everybody can guess within an hour. Like,
that's pretty funny.
I saw a great meme my friend sent to me. It was it showed them all celebrating in Seinfeld, like when they were doing their trip, they're like all their hands are up. They're like, what I thought my 30s would be like, and then what my actual 30s would be like, and it's somebody watching that clip on Netflix.
Oh, that's funny.
It's pretty good. All right, what else do we have here, guys? Any questions or thoughts? Feel free to weigh in. I'll go back through and just double check my baseball stuff makes sense. I think I'm pretty much ready to roll with it, unless we get some funny starting lineups. We did get the Padres lineup. Oh, good. Acuna's going to be back in not too long. That's good.
That's good.
He's been out forever. All right, let's see if my baseball stuff.
So it's so amazing how people get injured in baseball so much.
I understand it for pitchers. I really don't understand how the other guys do so much.
No.
Remember what's his name? Keith Mitchell the year before or after? I can't remember that he almost hit the 50 home runs, and back then it was like that would be like hitting like 70 now. He missed the rest of the season, like months of the season, because he had bruised ribs from throwing up from a sickness.
Really?
Broken ribs, excuse me, from a sickness. That was one of the weirder ones that you see.
Ooh, I'm just tightening up the projections a little bit in the NBA. I'm going to push an update here. So yes, this is my schedule. I'm going to push an update here, then I'm going to rebuild my NBA, and then I'm going to get out of here. Okay. And tomorrow I'm out.
Yep.
So you could do golf without me.
Yep. I think me and Kenny will probably do it.
And I'll be back on Thursday.
So you got the Yankee game, and then you said you may have a Knicks game in your near future.
I might Saturday. Saturday I'm thinking about going to the Knicks game.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Tell Sabersim. I'm sorry. Tell DraftKings to give you a freaking seat.
That's all right. I'll use it for something else.
Okay. All right.
So NBA, I'm gonna updo in a second. No, I just tightened up the ownerships a little bit on some of these guys. Yeah, the Przinsky I think is gonna be pretty jammed as well. But everybody's jammed. It's a 2-game slate, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to look at like the who is the one. I'm trying to see who my highest owned sub 10% owned guy is. Well, Kuminga, but that's not saying much. You can always swap off of the great thing about the Kuminga play to take a speculative thing. You can just swap off of it too. Like, I mean, it's the second game. You're not going to get him if you rerun things unless you try to ask for him. So you've got plenty of ways you can go.
Well, like you said, I mean, it's possible he doesn't play a minute.
Yep.
But if he does, I mean, like,
yeah, there could be 30 plus.
What's his price? $5K?
Yeah. It would have been neat if they made him like 3,500 and seeing what people did.
Yeah, what if he plays and he gets 32 minutes, he scores 26 fantasy points.
Yeah, or like 40 fantasy points possibly.
Right.
All right. And I am going to hand build my final MLB ones. It was the hand build last night. But what I'm doing now is like I'm doing hand builds with a little bit of help from the like I'll leave the main stack in over there,
Okay.
but I'm not going to do it except for one. For one, I always want to build my complete own, but I'll leave the main stack in. But I'll just make sure that I like the other stack or whatever, or I'll make it a 4-4. But tonight I'm probably going 5-man almost across the board. And my predictions for the games tonight, I think Orlando wins, and I think Golden State. I think Golden State wins. They get their revenge. They're the only. I think they're the only team to have 3 losses. The 0-3 in the.
Can you explain what the story is again with the play-in?
So whoever wins the Golden State Memphis game plays the 2 seed. Whoever loses plays the winner of the 9-10 play-in to get the 8 seed.
So it's not a must win for anybody.
It's not a must win. It's a must win only for it's still the same thing as a must win. I think you'd call it, but of the games tonight, both teams will have one more chance to make the 8.
That's what I'm asking. Okay.
But I also think that the Rockets might be an underdog to Golden State, whereas like OKC is going to be projected to sweep whoever wins that series, whoever makes the 8.
Right.
It's tough. Whereas but on the East though, it's a little different because I think that both the Celtics and Cavs are going to be massive favorites, but I think the Celtics will be much bigger favorites than the Cavs will be. All right, and any other questions, guys?
So I did just push into one more NBA projection update. If there's a change, if someone gets ruled out, I'd be just floored.
Yeah, the only one that's got a question is the Moses Moody.
Okay.
But I think we'll know about that one.
Is that at 10 o'clock anyway?
Yeah, it's the later game.
It's not going to really be that big of a deal.
It'll make Pods look like he's already close to a lock.
He's already projecting like a lock.
Yeah.
But this is what you're getting in the playoffs, like guys like that and KCP.
Yeah. Corey, you could play Kikuchi. I'm not personally interested in Kikuchi particularly tonight, but if you want to go ahead, I sort of feel the same way I do about McGill. If you end up with him, fine. Not going out of my way to get him.
What is his game? What is he in? The Angel game? Is that?
Jump back here 1 second. Sorry. He's in the he's at Texas.
Okay.
So I don't love the at Texas part, but
no, I don't either.
So that's why I'm not. But I think that has a large field play. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually
my
getting
connection.
a little
What is
Kikuchi.
happening
It's
with my
annoying.
connection? It could work. He's got good stuff. Every now and then it works.
Every now and then. Every now and then, indeed.
I'm probably going to get out of here if that's okay. Sheets, are you cool?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Good luck to all you guys tonight. Discord, I'm going to update my stuff in a minute. And Sheets, have fun tonight. And good time game tomorrow.
All right.
All right. I'll see you guys soon. Good luck.